is up? How y'all doing? We are doing another lens review. This is going to be on the Micro Four Thirds Lumix system. This is for the Panasonic 14mm aperture 2.5 prime lens. This is going to be a 28mm equivalent focal length to a full frame camera. So I went out and I've used this lens quite extensively. It's not my go-to lens when I'm doing more professional shoots, but I absolutely do adore using this lens. It's a fun, easy lens to use. It's really small, it's flush with the body, so I do like that fact with it. It just is so discreet, and I can take a lot of different photos with it, and it's super fast, so I like that about it. And recording, I don't have to switch my lenses when I'm recording either, so that actually really helps out if I'm just running and gunning. So before we get into it, I'd just like to thank God for the ability to take all these amazing photos. If it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be able to take these amazing photos. Okay, now getting started, it's the 4 categories. We're going to take a look at affordability, we're going to take a look at accessibility, we're going to take a look at the build quality, and the versatility of this one lens. So first off, we'll take a look at the affordability. For this, I gave it a 9. There are some lenses out there that are cheaper. There are some lenses that give you a little bit more value with the Micro Four Thirds system, but I think if you picked up a nice Micro Four Thirds camera from Lumix or Olympus, and you just need a lens that'll let you do everything, and you already have the 50, or you don't want to take the jump on the 50 yet, or the 25mm, and you just want something that you can use for filming and in tight quarters and also for photography, this would be the lens you want to go with, especially how fast it is, so that's a huge plus for this one. So it's a 9 because there is some stuff that's, there's the one prime lens, the 25mm, that's a little bit cheaper. Sometimes you can get the 12 to 32 around the same price, and then you can also, take the jump up, get the 12 to 60 around the same price, or maybe if you're lucky around the same price or a little bit more. So that's where the affordability comes into play, but a 9 is pretty good. It's it's an affordable lens. So next I'm going to take a look at the accessibility. So since this is got autofocus, the lens ring is super easy to focus if you want to switch it over to manual. It doesn't have a ton of bokeh unless you have those specific situations where you can add it, so you can literally put it on the 225 points, or you can put it on single point focus, and you can get clear photos every single time. That's why I gave this a 10 on the accessibility. You throw it on there, you don't have to mess with the focal length, you just move your body and your camera, and the autofocus will do the trick. If you have an aperture priority, it'll do the trick, it'll do whatever you want it to do. This is probably one of the easiest lenses to use. Especially if you're filming on top of that, you don't have to move around that much. It's it's wide open, it's there. Maybe add a filter to it, a lens filter, and then other than that, it's super easy to use. So if you're barely getting into photography, this would probably be one of the lenses I would highly recommend if you got a modern camera system or a Micro Four Thirds system. That's the whole point of the Micro Four Thirds, is it's small, compact, easy, you can bring it around everywhere, and this would be that lens to use. So next we're going to take a look at the build quality. For the build quality, I put it an 8. I think there's a couple of these that come with the plastic lens bayonet. Mine has a metal lens bayonet. It is got a fantastic build to it. It does feel really light. Other than that, it seems pretty decent. I only put it at an 8 because sometimes you can get the plastic lens bayonet, and it is quite small. But other than that, it seems to be great. I mean, I got a used copy and it was in immaculate condition. I haven't taken it apart. I don't really know whether or not this is a 10, because the glass is not going to be like a Leica glass element or Sigma glass element. It's just one of the Lumix glass elements. So based off of the photos that I've rendered from it, they look great, but colors are lacking. Some of that contrast is lacking just slightly. So that's why I gave it an 8 for that. So the next we're going to talk about would be the last thing, which is the versatility. So the versatility for me is a 6. And that's just because I think there's a little bit more versatile lens out there that you can use. I think this is a very difficult one to use for portraits. I've used it for portraits, and every time I've used it for portraits, I can get some good results, but not stunning results like I get with some of the other lenses. So is it a great portrait lens? I wouldn't say it's necessarily a great portrait lens. Is it a great Street photography lens. Yeah, it's pretty good at street photography. Is it good landscape? Yeah, it's pretty good at landscapes. But using it for portraits is where it's lacking quite a bit. The fact that it's so wide open and you're gonna have to crop down a lot of your photos, especially if they are portraits, is where it kind of lacks, especially if you only got 20 megapixels. You can have the overdrive system or the 80 megapixel picture if you are standing still, but again, that's going to be probably a landscape photo. So this one is a 6 just because it's not one of the most versatile lenses out there, but it is an easy lens to pick up and learn kind of photography, what you kind of like. I mean, you can see how like wide open this space is. It's not like, and if I wanted to zoom in on this one area, and then here's another one where it's kind of like I'm trying to take pictures or macro pictures of these cherries and I can't. I was able to get this great photo of this guy, but again, I'd have to crop it in just to get like that portrait that you're looking for. So in that case, it's the versatility. It's a very niche lens with certain aspects when it comes to portraits. You can take portraits and get good portraits, but you're talking about like a bunch of people as a portrait, a class photo type portrait, not necessarily just a one-on-one. So with that being said, this has an 8.25. Would I recommend it? Oh, I guess it's great for puppies. Would I recommend this lens? I definitely would for someone that's starting out. I think it's great if you don't necessarily have the money to invest in a super fast lens and you want to get a wide open lens for your Micro Four Thirds system, and you want to make sure that you can film properly and stuff. That's where it really excels to me, I feel like, is the filming aspect of it. Other than that, it's great for landscape, great for architecture, and I do enjoy having it in my bag just to throw it on there every now and then. If I don't want to carry around a super big telephoto lens, I can just throw that sucker on there and I can run a gun with it. So that's why I would be like, if you got the money to throw at it, do it. If you are very limited on a budget, I think the 50 mil is going to get you by, and the 12 to 60 kit lens will get you by pretty good. So I do recommend it with nuances. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. You guys can see all these amazing pictures at the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks.